seat and I'll just give my prediction to what I think will be at the weekend. So,
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. It is Christmas Eve. We are literally just under an hour away from Christmas Day now. We're all excited in my household, especially my 3-year-old. She's now in bed, waiting for Santa, of course. Before we get into the Q&A, I'd just like to say thank you to each and every single one of you that has subscribed to this channel. Honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate it. And I'm absolutely shocked to have gotten the amount of subscribers that I've gotten in such a short period of time. And I want to thank every single one of you who has watched the videos on my channel, who's been smashing that like button, and who's subscribed to the channel. If you are watching and you have not yet done that, please go and subscribe, please. One click, that is all it takes. Hit that notification bell, and every single video that I do from here on out, you will get the notification and you won't miss a single thing. Now, obviously, it's not the end of the year yet, so there's still plenty of time. I have still got a couple of reviews and previews and that to do on certain games that are up and coming. But I just want to let you guys know, yeah, at the moment, the quality of the videos is not that cracking. Yeah, and I appreciate every single one of you that is watching, even knows it's not that great at the moment. And I can promise you all now that this new year, I'm going to be bringing you more content, better content, and better quality videos and equipment. I'm investing into this for you guys, yeah, for you guys that are watching, because you are what makes this channel. And yeah, like I said, thank you to each and every single one of you. Now, Q&A, here we go. Red Lucifer, hello and good morning. It's I'm assuming it's morning where you are, of course. We are an hour away from Christmas Day here in the UK. I appreciate you coming on and watching, mate, because I know it's probably very early in the morning where you are. Devin here says, hey Brandon, hello, how are you doing? Much appreciate you two coming on and putting your comments in. A Merry Christmas to you and your family. Merry Christmas to you, mate, as well. Like I said, I appreciate each and every single one of you that is tuned in throughout the year. Like I said, I've only had this channel for a short period of time, and to get to where I am at this precise moment is just mind-blowing. It really is mind-blowing, and like I said, it's you guys that have made all of this possible. Merry Christmas to you and your family. I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. And the same for you as well, Devin. Merry Christmas to you. Hopefully, if there is any Christmas spirit out there, you know, a lot of people make a Christmas wish, you know. My Christmas wish, I've got a few of them. Number one would be sack Arteta. Number two would be sack Edu. And if anybody can make this possible. I am praying that someone can get Arsenal out of this situation that we are in. I'm praying that someone has hit Stan Kroenke so hard on the head that he goes and spends 100 to 200 million pound in January. Now, I'm obviously hoping for a lot, but you know, it's never going to happen. But 2020 hasn't been great with the whole coronavirus and everything else, and it's been even worse being an Arsenal fan. We can only hopefully get better in 2021. But yeah, Red Lucifer says here it's 7:24 a.m. in Malaysia, so it's not too bad then, mate. Not too bad. You know, I appreciate you tuning in, because I know for a fact that if that was me, I'd still be asleep right now. And the same for you as well, Devin. 3:24 p.m. in Los Angeles. I know it's in the afternoon, but even so, you know, I appreciate you for tuning in. Devin says, my wish is that we don't get relegated. Yeah, mine too. Trust me. Arsenal have never been relegated. Never, ever. It would be one of the biggest shocks in world football if Arsenal was to go down. Praying that we can somehow, I don't know how, but we can somehow still make it into the top 6, you know. I'm being very, very ambitious, but top 10 looks even unlikely right now. Red Lucifer says, I hope your wish comes true. Yeah, we both know it's not going to come true. I know you're a Manchester United fan. You know, you must be pleased with how Manchester United are doing at the moment. But I look at Manchester United as well, and I think at the same time, you know, a lot of people were getting on at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a lot, saying that he's not the man for the job. He's not experienced enough for the job. He's, you know, and he's had a few real poor performances this season, but Manchester United have been relentless ever since, and you know, and there was actually fans saying, you know, at the beginning of the season that Arsenal will get top 4 as long as Manchester United keep Solskjaer and Chelsea keep Lampard. Oh dear. Probably top 12. Do you know what, mate? I can't see us climbing much further up the league than what we are now, especially if we keep Mikel Arteta in charge, because I was saying it on the Arsenal Lounge earlier, right? I don't believe we're going to really do any business in January. I don't believe that we are going to go and get the players that we need to get this team performing again, you know? I can't see it. We've been loan FC for years, you know, when it comes to the January transfer window. Or, you know, we'll go and buy a player that we don't need, or a player that's too old, give them a ridiculous contract, and we'll just go further and further backwards. But who knows? Who knows? Devin here says, when do you think we can win a game again? Do you know what? I can't see us beating Chelsea on Boxing Day, and that is hand on heart. You know, I can't see anything but an absolute drubbing against Chelsea. And if we're gonna win another league game, We've got to beat Brighton. That game is actually becoming a 6-pointer, you know, a 6-pointer. I can't believe that Arsenal are in this situation. It's unbelievable. It's mind blowing, you know. A 6-pointer. Unreal. Unbelievable. How the mighty have fallen, hey? Red Lucifer says, I know who said that about United behave. Yeah. You know what I mean? What can I say? But right now, all these people that have been laughing at Manchester United, you know, in the beginning of the season, even I was a little bit laughing at them, especially when they brought Cavani, because I was a little bit like, yeah, Cavani's a top player, but he hasn't played for like 6 months, you know? He's very injury prone. Will he do it in the Premier League? And he's proven everybody wrong. He's proven everybody wrong. And I'll hold my hands up and say, he's been a decent signing for Manchester United, you know. They brought very well in the summer. They got a quality squad, absolute quality squad. And I just kind of wish that we was in the same position that Manchester United is now. And this what's going on at Arsenal at the moment is a build-up, you know. Obviously, you guys know I don't rate the manager. I want him gone. I don't think he's good enough. But when you look at it, you know, properly, this has been a build-up of years and years of just mismanagement from the top right the way down. You know, when Wenger was here, you got to really credit Wenger. You know, you got to credit Wenger because he was getting the absolute maximum out of the players that he had. I mean, I remember seasons where we had players like Andre Santos and Shamak and who else? God, Javinho. You know what I mean? And he was still getting the top 4 with these players, and it just goes to show how much of a great manager he was. We wanted him gone, you know, and rightly so. I think his time at the club was done. I think he'd held on for a little bit too long. You know, there comes a time where things have to change, things have to move on. But since that, we've not corrected any mistakes that we've made at all. If anything, we've made more mistakes. Yeah, we got Unai Emery in, and although he was nowhere near, he wasn't even in my top 3 for managers when Wenger left. But you look at what he got out of that squad in the first season that he was in charge. You know, 5th place. We was literally 2 points off 3rd, and we bottled it at the end of the season. We got slapped in the Europa League final. But look at what he was getting out of them players. Look at what he was getting out of them players. Now, the window came about. They brought him Nicolas Pepe and a couple of others as well. And we've been finding out that he didn't want Pepe. He wanted Zaha. Now, this goes to show again more mistakes made at board level. You know, if a guy wants Zaha, go and get him Zaha. Yeah, don't go, oh, well, you want Zaha, we'll give you Pepe instead. You know, there's massive, massive issues at Arsenal. It is unbelievable. And as much as I don't like Arteta, I don't rate him as a manager. It's not all his fault, you know. It's not all his fault. um, Devin says Brighton have a game in hand and are 1 point behind us. I know, and this is what it's come to here at Arsenal. It's diabolical. It is diabolical. But really and truly, I didn't really want to come on here and talk too much about Arsenal. You know, the Q&A. You ask me anything you like. Ask me anything you like. It doesn't even have to be football related. It's just depressing talking about Arsenal. You know, I was on, like I said earlier, I was on the Arsenal lounge earlier on, and I kind of just thought, we're talking about Arsenal again. You know, every time we talk about Arsenal, it just seems to get me vexed because myself as a fan, I just feel powerless to do anything. You know, I know what needs to be done to change what's going on at the club, and that is plain and simple. You know, us fans need to unite. We need to come together, unite, and force change at this football club. But too many fans have their own agendas. Too many fans, you know, have their differences, and that is a lot of where the problem lies. Because if we as an entire fan base, yeah, come together and did something to force change at this football club, there is absolutely no way that they would be able to ignore us. No chance in hell. But because we got half the fan base that have their own agenda, like either they want Mikel Arteta in, or they just can't be bothered, or you know, other things. They won't join up with certain people because they don't like them. You know, it's petty little things like that. When really and truly, we as a fan base, we've got to pull that to one side. Yeah, we all want change at this football club. Every single Arsenal fan is depressed right now at what's going on at this football club. Doesn't matter who's right and who's wrong. It's about getting change. And without us all uniting, things will just carry on as they are. And we'll either get worse or we'll make slight improvements, but we'll never really go anywhere, you know, with it. Even I was also doubtful about the Cavani signing. Yeah, I think the majority of football fans were a little bit. It's a strange signing, you know. Undoubtedly, Cavani's got quality, no question about it. But the fact that he was looking at his age, looking at his injury record, the fact that he hadn't played for 6 months, and the amount of money that he was giving him in a contract as well. I know he came on a free, but it was, you know, it was kind of like this is either going to work out really well or it's going to go to absolute shit. And we've had it at Arsenal. We brought in Willian in the hope that he would be like a little bit of a stopgap and add a little bit more quality to the squad. And it's just not worked out at all, you know. I'm getting really worried. I think we all are, to be honest with you, you know. The thing is this board have got to go out and do something in January, because I can tell you now, if they don't, they are going to feel the full wrath of the fans. And what annoys me is this should have been done years ago, you know. This should have been done years ago. I said it earlier on, you know. The problem with our fans is we're so fickle. We just go, oh, we're pissed off. We've not signed anybody yet. And then we get to the end of the transfer window and the board realise that the fans are not happy. So then they'll go and slap a £45 million on the Thomas Partey, for example. And then all of a sudden, everybody's like, yes, we got Thomas Partey. Way, top 4. But they forget that we've still got players like Granit Xhaka, like Hector Bellerin, like El Neni, like, I can name so many players that have been here for years and failed consistently under 4 different managers. The real important thing at Arsenal is getting this rotten wood out of the football club. And that's not just the players, it's the people at board level as well. The management team. We're hearing reports that the goalkeeping coach employed by Mikel Arteta is the one who suggested about Runnison coming to Arsenal. Well, his performance the other night wasn't even of a championship level. So if your goalkeeping coach is suggesting about a player coming to one of the biggest clubs in England, and he's not even of a championship level, stay in your lane. You are not part of the recruitment system. You are a goalkeeping coach. Yeah? You are there to train the goalkeepers. Do that. But we let these people who know fuck all about recruitment suggest their ideas and go, do you know what? He's £1.5 million. If he turns out to be shit, we've only wasted £1.5 million. If he turns out to be great, look at me. I'm fantastic. It's a joke. United must sign a fast centre-back to compete with the title charge. Don't trust the defence partnership. Yeah, no, I agree. I think if there's one weakness in Manchester United squad, it's definitely your centre-backs. I think you're one player, maybe 2, away from really competing for the title. Wan-Bissaka is a very, very good right back, very good defensively. Not so much going forward, but that doesn't necessarily matter. Luke Shaw, I don't really rate the guy. I know you got Alex Telles as well. I haven't seen him play because I don't really tend to watch Manchester United, so I don't really know what he's like. But I'm assuming that he's come in to replace Luke Shaw a little bit, and I'm assuming that he's of a better level than Luke Shaw. So yeah, centre back pairing is definitely the area that I would look to strengthen at Manchester United, and maybe even the striking area as well, because you got to remember, like, Cavani's 32, 33-year-old. I think if Manchester United had somebody like, I don't know, Harry Kane, yeah, a Haaland, or somebody like that, and then went and brought an Upamecano to play next to Harry Maguire, you would be title challengers all day long. Devin, I'm just started reading the Wenger autobiography book. Yeah, I see his autobiography's out. I just bought that for my stepdad for Christmas, actually. I might have to go and purchase that myself and see what Wenger has got to say. If there's anything interesting in there, you know, I doubt it will give too much away, especially about the board and that, because he was a bit of a shield for them. But you know, I'd like for somebody to come out and tell us fans what is actually going on behind the scenes at Arsenal, because there's something is definitely not right. We can all see that, but what is it? You know, some people say it's the owner. Other people say, but you can't blame the owner when he spent such and such amount of money. A lot of people say it's to do with the people who are on the board. Some people say, no, it's just the manager. You know, what is the problem? You know, what is the biggest issue at Arsenal? Everybody has their own opinion on it, and you know, I just think personally that the club's a shambles, complete and utter shambles. But there you go. Even Tuchel got sacked, but that's probably he had a breakdown with the owners. Listen, I'd go and get him. Go and get him. Yeah, go and get this guy. He's a proper manager with experience. You know, did very well at Borussia Dortmund. Go and get him. Go and get him. Sack Arteta and get Thomas Tuchel now, because I can guarantee there will be another top club that will come in for him if we don't. Maybe he can get us out of this mess, and maybe he's somebody who we can trust with money, because right now, even if we give Arteta the money, or should I say Edu the money, I don't trust that they're going to spend this money correctly. You know, I just think it's going to be another load of bollocks again, which is going to set us back even further than what we are now. You know, so give it to somebody who knows what they're doing, because Arteta's made so many bad decisions. You know, so many bad decisions. Everybody can hype on about how he won the FA Cup and he won the Community Shield, but there's so many bad decisions being made by him and by Edu that I just don't understand how these guys still got a job here. You know, Arteta didn't break Klopp, but Arteta broke the fans. Yeah, I mean, Arteta didn't break Klopp. He never has broke Klopp. But I wouldn't even say Arteta broke the fans. I just think Arsenal in general has broke the fans. You know, it's sad to see your football club, you know, in this position when it shouldn't be. You know, 2004 went invincible. You know, we've won the most FA Cups out of any club in England. You know, we're up there. We're the third. I think we won the third most league titles as well. You know, and to see the club in such disarray is just, it's shocking. It's shocking, really. You just, I don't know what to think. I really don't. You know, we was promised that when we moved to the Emirates, we was going to compete with Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Real Madrid, all these teams, and we're competing with Brighton. I don't know. It's just one big farce. Cavani's on £220,000 per week. See, that ain't too bad actually. You know, I thought it'd be on a little bit more than that. Considering we're paying Willian the same amount of money, it looks like a bit of a steal at the moment. So, you know, um, Devin says, I don't understand why the board don't care. If they want it to be a business, then they should really care, because we're in a relegation dogfight and there's no money in the championship. Yeah, I kind of get your point, but Stan Kroenke doesn't care, won't ever care. He doesn't understand football, you know. These owners have never been interested in football. And Arsenal, they used to go and get bank loans for them to do whatever they want to do out in America, you know, invest in other things. And that's all we're used for. We're used for that. And the only way that Stan Kroenke is really going to start caring is if he, you know, if he is forced to start dipping his hand into his own pocket. And I think he's going to have to be forced, because, listen, we was getting Champions League football consistently year in, year out. We dropped out of that and into the Europa League. And at first, we struggled to adjust because of the difference in money. You know, Europa League to Champions League money, there's a big difference. We've obviously adjusted to that over the years because we've been in the Europa League for a little while now. But if we don't get any European football, which I can't see happening, right, that is really going to start affecting Stan Kroenke's pocket. And if fans start being allowed back into the stadium, and I don't just mean 2,000 fans, I mean you're talking, you know, anywhere up to full capacity, I don't think fans are going to want to return, especially at the moment, you know, when we're losing week in, week out. I mean, why would anybody put their hand in their pocket and use their hard-earned cash to go and watch Arsenal lose? So something needs to be good. It needs to be done. And the only positive that I can take from all of this that's going on, and the fact that we're so low in the league, is this has to be affecting Stan Kroenke's pocket. It surely must be affecting Stan Kroenke's pocket. Devin here says, what position do you think Arsenal need to replace right now? Also, what position for long term should we get a young player? What position? Midfield. Yeah. Central midfield is ridiculously poor right now. Yeah. We are in desperate need for central midfielders. Yeah. We got Thomas Partey, but he's out injured. And it just goes to show, you know, we've had some quality midfielders over the years. Patrick Vieira, Gilberto Silva. You know, you had Dennis Bergkamp playing in the 10 role. You got, you know, even Mesut Ozil when he first joined Arsenal. Aaron Ramsey, Jack Wilshere, you know. And who have we got now? Partey's a great player. But apart from that, there isn't anybody else. And the biggest problem at Arsenal at the moment is we get overrun in midfield every single game. And there's an old saying, the game is won and lost in the midfield. The midfield battle is what loses you or wins you the game. And that tends to be right, you know. If you win the midfield battle, 9 times out of 10, you win the game. You lose it, 9 times out of 10, you lose the game. And at the moment, our midfield is diabolical. So we need midfielders in January. no question about it. And if I was manager and Stan Kroenke turned around to me and said, "You got £100 million," I'd go and buy 2 midfielders in January. Yeah, £50 million each. Top signings. Yeah. I'd buy somebody who can play next to Partey. And obviously we need a creative midfielder, a central attacking midfielder. There's no question about that. And then the rest of the investment would be done in the summer, where we can go and get like better centre backs, you know, other positions. But midfield, we are crying out for midfielders at the moment. It's a joke. Long term, I think, like I said in my stream the other day, you build a squad around Martinelli, you know. Long term, I said it earlier on the Arsenal Lounge, you know, I don't understand why we don't do a similar thing to what Liverpool did. When Klopp rebuilt that squad, he brought in players that already knew the Premier League. Yeah, Mane came from Southampton. Van Dijk came from Southampton. Henderson, he was already there when Klopp took over, but again, he came from Sunderland, who already knew the league. Mo Salah, yes, he came from Roma, but he did have a spell at Chelsea, so he already knew what the league was about. Wijnaldum, Newcastle, you know? And all these players already knew what the league were about, so they didn't need time to settle into the Premier League. You could buy them, and you know that they would come in and hit the ground running. Yeah? We make the mistake of going and buying these foreign players from foreign leagues because it's a little bit cheaper, you know? And then when they don't work out, a lot of the time it's because they're either not suited to the Premier League or they're just not good enough. And you've seen it with Nicolas Pepe. I don't believe he's a £72 million player anyway, but he was tearing it up in France. And you look at him now in this Arsenal team in the Premier League. And when you pay £72 million for a player, you expect him to consistently perform at the top of his game. You know, 8 games out of 10, he needs to be having a good game. And then the other 2, you can sort of let him off for having a bit of an average performance. But with Pepe, all we get is maybe 2 good games out of 10. And then the rest, he's absolutely shocking. And it just goes to show the recruitment at Arsenal it's a joke. You go and spend £72 million on Pepe, who doesn't know the league, who you don't know is whether he's going to come in and tear it up or whether he's just not going to be suited to the Premier League, which is what it's looking like right now. Or you could have gone and got yourself a Wilfried Zaha, yeah, who already knows the league. He scores goals. He creates assists. He hasn't got to get used to the Premier League. And you could have got him for a similar price. But Arsenal we're too cheap. We're too cheap. We see the difference was we go and get Zaha, we have to pay £80 million up front. We get Pepe, we can pay £22 million over the next 4 years in instalments. Yeah? Which is fair enough, but if it doesn't work out, you know, and it hasn't worked out, then we have to start asking these questions. Kroenke is a great owner for American sports, but definitely not for Arsenal. I 100% agree. But at the same time, I don't see how we're going to get this guy out, you know? We can cry and scream about it as much as we like. At the end of the day, it's his investment, you know. He brought 99% of Arsenal only a couple of years ago. And he clearly has plans for Arsenal, whether that be just to, you know, use us, which is what he is doing, or whether he does actually want to invest in this squad long term. But I don't believe that. But he's brought 99% of Arsenal. Before he brought 99% of Arsenal, he had a huge offer from Usmanov, and Usmanov offered him probably twice the amount to what Stan Kroenke's shares were actually worth, and he rejected it. So if Usmanov can't buy him out, then I don't see how anybody else is going to buy him out unless they put even more money to him, or we fall further and further and further down in the league table. So the thing is like I've been saying for a long while, the best thing we can hope for is that he puts the correct people in charge of the football club. You know, the people who know how to spend the money properly, rather than, you know, give me £200 million. I'll go and rebuild this squad, no problem whatsoever. You know, it's I don't know. Red Lucifer, Arsenal is just collateral for the Kroenkes. Exactly, mate. They just don't care. As a United fan, I want Arsenal and United to be up there with the likes of Liverpool and City. Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. You know, it's 16 years now since Arsenal and Manchester United were the two teams vying for the top, and now you just look at how far we've fallen. I mean, Manchester United, they're slowly building back up to where, you know, they want to be and they need to be. We're going backwards, you know. Afdeling Skillz says Tunchel not good enough. But is he better than Arteta though? You know? He's a guy with experience. I'm sure he's won stuff with Dortmund. He's won stuff with PSG. He seems like the type of guy who's not going to take any shit. And I just feel like, you know, if it means that we can get him over Arteta, I'd take him. He also says, if we sack Arteta, bring Benitez. Listen, Benitez, again, I'd take him as well, you know. Did a great job at Liverpool, great job at Newcastle, you know, with no money as well, no backing. I'd 100% take Benitez, even if it was just on a interim basis, you know, just to settle the ship a little bit, you know. And yeah, good shout. I would take Benitez 100%. He also says I wanted Zaha over Pepe before we signed Pepe, and look what happened. What a joke. Yeah, I agree, mate. I 100% agree. Zaha is Premier League proven. Yeah, this is the thing, you know. Premier League proven players, you know, tend not to flop too much because they already know the league. You know, look at Wijnaldum at Liverpool now. He's in a better squad, and he's a great player. Salah as well. You know, pick the players that are going to suit your system, exactly the same as what Klopp did, but get them from the Premier League. You know, from the English leagues. You know, I said it before. if I was to rebuild this squad myself, right back, everybody knows Hector Bellerin, gone. I'd keep Cedric, but I'd keep Cedric as a backup. And I'd go get Max Aarons from Norwich. Yeah, hands down. Go get Max Aarons from Norwich. Midfield area, I think we missed the trick a little bit. Because next to Thomas Partey, the perfect partner would have been Decore. Yeah, but he's gone to Everton now. So I think you've got to find somebody who's on Decore's level. I would love Wilfred and Ndidi, but that is never going to happen. Why would he join Arsenal when Leicester are doing what Leicester are doing? Maybe you could tempt Decore from Everton, you know? Maybe, who knows? In my 10 role, he's already gone to Leipzig, but I would have had a Dominic Szoboszlai. He's got decent quality, he's a young player. You know, who knows? And he'll have resale value as well. Up front, Martinelli, yeah. If you're thinking long term, obviously for now it's Aubameyang, but Martinelli would definitely be in my long term plans for playing as a striker. I'd teach him the striker's role rather than have him playing out on the left wing, because I think he'd do more damage in the middle. You'd have Saka on the left, right wing. I don't know. I'd have to think about the right wing because I wouldn't have Pepe. I'd get rid of Pepe. I'd tear Willian's contract up. You all know that. Left back will obviously be Tierney. You'd have centre back pairing of Gabriel and Saliba. And already, that's a better squad than what we've got already. You know, and what price would we be looking at to do that? You know, Max Aarons, what, 25 million pound? Decore, you maybe snap him up for about 40 million. So that's 65 million quid. Szoboszlai was never going to cost us any more than 30 million, but we didn't go with it. So that's 95 million. Then you go get a right winger. Let's say we pay 50 million for a right winger. So that's 145 million pound. Yeah. And I've just addressed little positions within the squad that need addressing. And then if you really wanted to go a little bit further, you know, I know he'd never join Arsenal because he obviously wants to play Champions League football. But you go and get an Upamecano, you know. So let's say that he is, I don't know, 60 million pound. Yeah, 60 million pound. That's 200 million pound. And you've addressed everything that needs addressing within this squad. And all of a sudden, you've got a starting 11 that is top 4. 100% top 4. Where was we? What Premier League players would you get off the top of your head to rebuild? Like Liverpool? I've just named how I'd rebuild. Dream would be Jack Grealish or James Maddison. Ndidi, you know, Decore. Who else? Let me think. Who else could you go and get? Ruben Neves from Wolves. No, you could even go and get Pedro Neto, for example, from Wolves as well. I did quite like that Felipe Anderson as well, but he seems to have dropped off at West Ham a little bit. Declan Rice, you know. Trying to think really. There's quite a, there's a lot of players that could improve this Arsenal squad, you know. A lot of players. Just shows how bang average this team is. Afdeling says the board are the biggest problem. Look at the Willian deal. Yeah, I agree. I agree. The board are the biggest problem, but I also think that Arteta's nowhere near good enough for this job. He hasn't got the experience to get us out of this mess, and the decision making of him as well is just, some of it's just a joke, and you know, it needs somebody with experience. You need somebody with experience. Yes, sign up Brandon. Oh, yeah, I'd love to. I would love to. Who is your favourite football YouTuber? Do you mean as in like YouTube channels? Because I love the Football Terrace. AFTV is definitely up there. You know, a lot of people slag off AFTV, but they're definitely up there. Lee Gunner, yeah, 100%. EGTV, a gal. You know, I get on well with a gal. I like to have conversations with a gal. You know, he's a very positive Arsenal fan. You know, who else? I even enjoy, you know, DT as well, and there's a lot of them. Turkish as well. Turkish quality, big up Turkish. Curtis Shaw, you know, all these guys. We had the chance to sign Kante before he joined Chelsea. Typical Arsenal. Yeah. Well, what it was we signed Xhaka for the same price as Kante, but what it actually worked out as was that Granit Xhaka was actually cheaper than Kante because of the whole agents' fees and how we broke down the fee for Xhaka. And that's why we went for him instead of Kante. And it was a big, big, big mistake. Massive mistake. And, you know, we're still paying the price for it now. But that's what Arsenal are, cheap. Saint Maximin on the right wing or as a 10. I'm not sure about Saint Maximin, you know. He's fast and he's a very tricky player, but his end product's just, it's not quite there for me, you know. He reminds me of a little bit in a way like Walcott, you know what I mean? Walcott, very fast, very tricky, but his end product was, you know, Maximan's a little bit like that. I think you'd have to go and get better than Maximan. Just trying to think off the top of my head who else could you go and get, you know? Right wing. Who would you go and get? Let me think. You could go and get. I don't know. I don't know. I remember when we played Barcelona in the Champions League when we won 2-1. RVP and Arshavin scored. Look at our team now. It's sad. Listen, mate, I remember the 2006 Champions League final. You know, we was very unlucky not to win that. Jens Lehmann got sent off, and we still went 1-0 up Sol Campbell. And we sort of fell apart in the last couple of minutes. What a team we had then, you know. What a team we had then. It's just how the mighty have fallen. It honestly is. I miss Santi. Yeah, I miss Santa Cazorla as well. You know, he was a quality player, quality player, and we got him on the cheap as well. You know, um, I don't think we paid much more than about £15 million for him, and he was a brilliant player. He's just so injury prone, and you know, it's funny, isn't it? You know, some of these players that don't really get injured, and then they come to Arsenal and they're constantly injured year in year out. But he was a brilliant player. Certainly one of the best that we've had in the last decade. You know, um, yeah, top three best Arsenal players ever. God, top three best Arsenal players ever. Jeez, top three, man. There's so many. Um, I can name a list. You know, Ian Wright, Dennis Bergkamp, Thierry Henry, Tony Adams. You know, Sol Campbell, Patrick Vieira, Ray Parlour was, you know, decent in his day as well. Um, who else? Robert Pires, Freddie Ljungberg, you know, a lot of players, hell of a lot of players. You can even go further. You can even go further back than that. You know, Jens Lehmann, David Seaman, um, Lauren. Um, God, top three, top three. I'm gonna go. Yeah, David Rocastle as well. Jesus. Um, Bergkamp. Bear in mind that I am 24 years old. So top three Arsenal players that I've seen, yeah, would have to be Bergkamp, Henry, and Vieira. Um, uh, top three players ever. You'd have to put Ian Wright in there as well. Um, it's so hard to choose from, to be honest with you. It really is. We've had so many quality players over the years. Um, you know, some unbelievable players. Um, would you take Wenger back? No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. Um, I think he left us in a bit of a mess. You know, I think he's got to take a little bit of blame for this. Um, what's going on here? Because he also invested badly. You know, we named it earlier, Granit Xhaka. You know, one of his signings. Who else did he buy? Uh, who else is in this squad that he bought? There's quite a lot. You know, there's still quite a lot of Arsene Wenger players here. You know, Rob Holding, for example, not bad for the price that you paid for him, but he's never of Arsenal, you know, level and quality. Um, Mohamed El Neni, you know, another Arsene Wenger signing. Um, even you could even go as far as to saying about Lacazette as well. You know, he's not lived up to the standards. He hasn't scored even 20 goals in a season for Arsenal. And, you know, these are all players that were signed while Arsene Wenger was here. He's left us in a little bit of a mess. So I wouldn't take him back because, you know, I think he's done a lot of damage at this football club as it is. Um, so no, I wouldn't take him back. Not unless he was, you know, maybe involved on board level. You know, had something to do with the football club in that way. But there you go. Would Aubameyang get into our 2009 or 2016? 2009? Trying to think who we had in 2009. I can't think who we had in 2009 playing up front. 2006, no chance. Yeah, Aubameyang ain't getting ahead of Thierry Henry. No way. Yeah, one of the greatest strikers in Premier League history. One of the greatest strikers in Arsenal history. And especially not on current form now anyway. How many years do you think until we'll be in the top four every year and challenging for titles again if we brought in someone like a Benitez? It depends. It depends a lot on how much we invest in the squad, because and how well we invest as well. Let me make that point there, because if we go and invest £200 million, you know, like what I was a little bit like what I was doing earlier in the summer, and we buy, we buy how we should be buying, and we address all the issues within the squad. You could be back up challenging for the top four within the next 2 seasons, no question about it. But it all just depends, a lot on this board. It depends on which players stay, which players go, and who we have in charge of the football club. Who we have in the management role, who we have recruiting the players. As things stand right now, I say we are at least 4 to 5 seasons behind everybody else. And also challenging for the league or winning a league title. I think we're a decade away from doing that. I honestly do. And it could get worse, because if we keep this manager in charge, he could do more damage and create more of a mess. And that will put us even further behind. Where am I? Can't believe Wenger signed Mohamed sideways. Well, he did. Do you think we have a chance against Chelsea? Listen, there's always a slim chance, but if I'm being realistic, nah, I can see us getting slapped 3 or 4 in that game. We're so dreadful right now. And Chelsea, although they haven't been like real good, they have been decent. They have the quality to, absolutely embarrass us if they want to. And our players are they're low on confidence. They're out of form, every single one of them. And I don't have confidence that we can turn it around. I just think, Chelsea will have too much quality for us, definitely. Do you think Arsenal have a chance against Brighton? Listen, if we're going to win a league game this year, I'm talking like as in 2020, it's got to be against Brighton. That is a 6-pointer. We've got to beat Brighton. We've got no choice. We're fighting with them. It is a relegation battle we're in. People can deny it all they like. We are in a relegation dogfight this season. Can't believe some Arsenal fans said Alba is an Arsenal legend. He's not an Arsenal legend. Yeah, he's not an Arsenal legend. He wants to talk about becoming a legend and creating a legacy at this football club. You know, when he signed his new deal, the only way you're going to do that is if you outscore certain players who have been at this football club, like Thierry Henry, like Ian Wright. You know, you've got to catch up with their records, and he's not doing that. He's got no hope of doing that in this current squad. He's not a legend, definitely not. He's not earned that right. But could he still become a legend at Arsenal? It depends. It depends on his next couple of seasons and where we're at. Who knows? You never know. You never know. What team do I want to see against Chelsea? Now, for me, obviously, you've got to play Leno in goal. You can't have chocolate fingers in goal, you know. Runnison, it's not good enough. Don't ever want to see him play for Arsenal again. So it's got to be Leno. Tierney at left back, Gabriel at centre back, along with Pablo Mari. Right back, Cedric. Central midfield, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, and it's going to have to be Mohamed El-Neni. I don't want Granit Xhaka anywhere near this midfield. In 10 role, I would play Saka. Then I'd play Martinelli out on the left. Aubameyang up top if he's available. And it'd have to be Pepe on the right. I don't think that's a good enough team to beat Chelsea, but I do think it's a better team than what we have been seeing recently. I think if we get back on track next season, we could get Grealish. I don't know. You know, the guy's not long signed a new contract at Aston Villa. It's going to take a minimum of 90 to 100 million pound to get him from Aston Villa. And we at Arsenal, we just don't spend that sort of money on one player. I know we did it with Pepe, but again, like I said earlier, we're paying for Pepe in instalments. You know, we don't do that sort of business. I'd love for Jack Grealish to come to Arsenal, but I just can't see it happening. Arteta breaks a record every week, so I wouldn't be surprised if he breaks the relegation record. Neither would I. Neither would I. And the last comment that I'm going to do tonight, I heard we have never lost a game on Boxing Day. Well, hopefully that run can continue then. You know, never lost a game on Boxing Day. That can't be right, surely. That can't be right. And if it is right, there's a first for everything, you know. I honestly can't see us winning on Boxing Day. 2 more comments and then I'm out of it. Lucifer, if I'm not mistaken, since 1989. Sorry if I'm wrong. Are you talking about the whole Boxing Day thing, Lucifer? Was Emery really that bad? I mean, he did better. It's just these players are not good enough. Emery wasn't that bad. Yeah, Emery wasn't that bad. It fell apart for him because he lost the dressing room. And a lot of that was down to his communication skills. You know, he didn't know how to speak the language very well. And there was a bit of a breakdown in relationship with players. You know, I think You're seeing it again now with Mikel Arteta. Mikel Arteta has left Mesut Ozil out of the squad completely. Unai Emery did the same thing, and for some reason there seems to be a bit of a reaction within the dressing room when Mesut Ozil is left out. Don't know why, because the guy's not good enough for Arsenal any longer, and the sooner we get rid of him, the better. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Like I said, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe. We will have plenty more content coming for you in this new coming year. And before I go, of course, Merry Christmas to each and every single one of you. Appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in. I'll be back again with a match review when we get slapped on Boxing Day. Cheers, guys.